I remember just coming home one day from school, and my dad was just like, boys, you gotta move back down to London. Gutted, bro, like crying. What about Man City? Like, I didn't think about anything else. Ripped up training, played 3 matches. I think I scored 2, assisted 2 in the next game, scored another 2 in the next game. Like, there's no way they cannot sign me. He just turned around and said to me, yeah, like, just don't think you're good enough. Like, I remember just thinking to myself, I must be so bad. So after that, I thought about, yeah, I might have to just quit, because what's the point? So after training, I just go home, drink, go training, come home, drink, go training, like, just living like a mess, bro, just in a bad way. Like, didn't want to be there. And then once a manager starts thinking you're weak in football, bro, you're done. I heard my ankle just, bro, dislocated it. I looked down, it was like facing me. Bro, it was the worst thing ever, bro. I was crying, couldn't walk. I had to be bedbound for like 6 weeks. And that's when I just started getting mad depressed. If you control what you could control to the best of your ability, you will be blessed. So yeah, now I'm clubless. I'm just going home. Now I'm looking at my ceiling again. Just looking at it again thinking, what am I gonna do? My name's Tyrique Hyde, and I'm doing perspectives for rising ballers. So I was born in Redbridge, my mum and dad's first child. My dad was obviously a professional footballer at the time, and he was, I think he literally just got promoted to the Premier League the year I was born. Used to go to watch my dad at football and stuff like that. So football was just always part of our family, do you know what I mean? And a part of our life, really, from a really, really young age. And then I proper remember, I don't know, I always remember this to this day, yeah, but I always remember like, being in a car, yeah, and my dad just driving for ages. We got somewhere and he just parked up and was like, yeah, like this is your new home, like this is where we're living now. And it turns out, obviously, I didn't know the areas at the time and that, but it was Manchester at the time. And obviously he got a move from he obviously left Watford and he went from Watford to Burnley. So that's why we had to obviously move up north as a family. I feel like people up north are a little bit friendlier than people down south. So I feel like we made friends quicker and like grew like stronger bonds with people up north. And like, you know, we'd play like Wembley doubles and Wembley singles and just always just being outside. I just remember always being outside. Like me and my brother would always go to Burnley, so Turf Moor, and watch my dad play on like a Saturday. And then I'd see the game go on and then we'd watch the game and then I'd come home and literally go straight in the garden and just like, I'd be like 11 players, 1 person myself. So I'd like, it's Micah Hyde and I'll pass to this one and that one and that one and I'll score. And I was always just loved, I was just infatuated with like the players and like Burnley. Like I was like, any team my dad played for, I was just like, yeah, like, I love this team. Like it's sick, man. Like I think he captained every team he played for at the end of his career, which is quite remarkable, to be fair. And like he used to bring me and my brother into the training ground. So like, obviously he'd have to go training. And we would just bring him. We would just sit on the side and watch like Burnley training in the Championship, which is mad when you think about it. Like sitting there and then like his gaffer at the time, Steve Cottrell, and that used to like play with us and things like that. So yeah, man, like it was just sick. Like football was literally all we knew was me and my brother. All we knew was football, and yeah, we saw like what obviously all the things we have as a family and all the nice things that we've got and where my dad's got, it's all due down to football. Do you know what I mean? So I'll always love football because it gave me a nice childhood. Do you know what I mean? So like you didn't get it from being a lawyer or a doctor. It's literally football, and we literally saw the rewards from a young age, really. Like clubs from around the north, so like Blackburn, Bolton, Manchester City, all the teams that's up north would come into your school as a primary school. Literally, like, as a coach will come in and say, we're going to put on a session now. Like this was like during school hours. And then I remember getting letters come for me from my school into the post. And it's got like 2 letters have come for me. And they come on the same day. I remember this, they come on the same day. And one had like a Blackburn badge on it and one had a Man City badge on it. And was like, yeah, we'd like to invite Tyrique to come down. Like we're really impressed with him. We'd like to come down and train with the boys that are signed in our academy sort of thing, but I'm like 7, 8, you know, like under 8s, under 7. Like him to come down and train. And I remember I was going to both for about 3 weeks. They both wanted to end up signing me, yeah? And I always remember like, I don't even remember being gassed or anything. I just thought, oh, like this is just what you do. Like it's football, like no, but I saw my dad playing for Watford, Burnley, so I was like, okay, Blackburn, Man City, like I'll play for a team. You had to make a decision now. And I always remember saying to myself, like, because back then, Man City weren't what Man City were now, do you know what I mean? The facilities weren't mad. They weren't like fighting for Premier Leagues and stuff like that. They weren't like a big club, do you know what I mean? But, and Blackburn facilities were sick at the time. Like, I used to get gassed when I used to go to Blackburn because it was cleaner, like the dome was nicer. And I just thought cleaner at Blackburn, do you know what I mean? And I was like to my mum and dad, I want to go to Blackburn. Looks like my dad was like, no, listen, trust me. Go to Man City. Like Man City like you more. Go to. And I was like, I don't care who likes me more. I just want to go where it's better. And then your dad's like, no, trust me, let's go to Man City. It's better for you to go to Man City. And I was like, oh, cool. So I ended up listening to my dad, obviously over my mum in the football thing, because my dad's done it. So I ended up going to I've signed for Man City now. I think I was there from like under 8s to like under 10s, so a couple years. I remember just coming home from school one day and I was loving it at Man City. Like, it was sick. I like becoming friends with them. You know, you become friends with your teammates and stuff like that, and you're feeling sick. Like, I play for Man City. You got the kit at home and that. And then I remember just coming home one day from school, and my dad was just like, boys, you got to move back down to London, bro. And I just remember just being like gutted, bro, like crying, saying, so the first thing I thought was, so what about Man City? Like, I didn't think about anything else. I just thought, so what about Man City? He was like, well, can't play for Man City anymore, you know what I mean? Like, you'll find another team down there, it's fine, whatnot. And I was like, oh. So I remember just crying, like, I think I didn't even talk to my dad for like a day. I was so upset, you know what I mean? Like, I thought it was just standing on, crushing my dreams, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a little boy, you know what I mean? In hindsight, it's whatever, it don't matter what age, you know? We moved back down to Essex. My dad's playing for Peterborough and whatnot. And obviously, I haven't got a club, you know, because I haven't played football no more, because I'm young. And then, I remember my dad was like, my dad coming to my room and was like, oh yeah, I just got a phone call of West Ham. And they was like, look, they've spoke to Man City. Man City have made West Ham aware of your situation. And basically West Ham are saying they'll take you in. Like, obviously you have to come and train for like 2 days or something, but Man City gave you a good review. West Ham will take you in. That the only clause is that if you make your first team debut for West Ham, then Man City get a little bit of compensation, do you know what I mean? And stuff. But obviously, I found that out later, I didn't know at the time. But I was like, yeah, cool, like, West Ham, they're cool, back playing football. I know who West Ham are, do you know what I mean? Like, they're on like the same level as City back then. West Ham probably a little bit better. Pro club, do you know what I mean? I don't care. West Ham, cool. Then I've gone to West Ham, and I just remember, when I was at West Ham, it just weren't, I went there for a couple of days, it just weren't the same vibe. Like, in Manchester, up north, like I said, everyone was friendlier. Everyone was cool. Like, even though you're competing against each other, it felt like you was part of a team, do you know what I mean? When I got to West Ham straight away, I realised, like, okay, like, these people, like, some of these people are pricks, you know what I mean? But that's how sometimes you gotta be, they're selfish, innit? You gotta be selfish, to be fair, which I learned later on, maybe too late. You gotta be selfish in football. So I thought, oh, why do they not like me and what's going on? I was thinking about completely the wrong thing back then, do you know what I mean? And if I had that mindset I have now, back then, it would be a different story, but obviously, that's what happens when you mature and stuff like that. But then, now I'm playing for West Ham Academy. It's going all right, it's going all right. The first year was good. I remember thinking, yeah, like, cool, I'm getting settled now. I had a mad Mancunian accent as well, so I was just automatically different to everyone else. And I realised very quickly at West Ham, and maybe in academies in general, I've heard a lot of people say this, but I really felt it at the time was like, in each age group, like, the club definitely had their favourites, do you know what I mean, of the people who they really want to push, and the rest of us, it just felt like, to me, was just there to build the team and supplement the players who they really want to push. And I remember being so young, maybe like 11, 12, and I was feeling it at the time, like, this is not right. Do you know what I mean? Like, not everyone's getting a fair go here. Like, obviously back then when you play academy football, it's quarters. So you play, instead of playing halves of football, you play 4 quarters. And I remember, like, certain people will be playing 3 quarters every weekend, and I'm playing 2 quarters. So I'm coming to my mum and dad's taking me to football on a Sunday, obviously back then. And I'm playing 40 minutes of football, and I've certain people playing 60 minutes, or some people playing even 4 quarters. Like, it's not really fair, do you know what I mean? And I really got that vibe from real young, and then, to be fair, I just started slowly, just not wanting to be there, really. I remember just not wanting to go. I don't know if I was scared, or I don't know what it was. I just never told my mum and dad, really. I never come out and said to my mum and dad, I don't want to go football. I think I was scared of disappointing my dad, really, but I just didn't want to be there, really, and that really reflected in my performances. I'm at my granddad's house. My granddad used to take me to football, so I'm at my granddad's house on a Saturday. We'd just watch Match of the Day, and he'd be like, go to sleep tired, like, you got Fulham at home in the morning, or you got Chelsea at home in the morning, or whatever. And I remember, like, I'd wake up in the morning sometimes, and then the manager would text saying the game's cancelled. And I remember my granddad telling me, and I'd act sad, so my family think I loved football, but I'd really inside be buzzing, because I ain't got to go there, like, I ain't got to see the people. I could just do what I want to do, just chill, do you know what I mean? So it was kind of sad, really. I don't even think my family even know this, so when they watch this, they'll know. And all my friends were just playing Xbox all night, and you know what I'm saying? And I'd just be thinking, I got West Ham, I got Chelsea at home tomorrow, or whoever, Spurs at home, and I don't even want to go. Like, you know, my friends are buzzing, like, oh my God, you play for West Ham, like, how can you not take this opportunity? But you're not me, like, you don't really know what's going on there, do you know what I mean? And then I remember this is the thing that really said, yeah, I came clean, I was like, I'm done with football, really. Not done with football, I'm done with West Ham. So one time, after training session, so bearing in mind I'm 11, we're under 12s, so we're in a whole team together. I think when Jimmy Tyndall at the time sat us all down, basically, and he's giving out letters. So, like, he's walking around and looking everyone in the eye and giving out letters, like, individually. And then I've noticed that certain people are getting letters, yeah, and I'm not. But like we're all together, bearing in mind when he's giving out these letters. So I'm looking to my left and I'm seeing a letter, and I'm like to my mate, like, let me see your letter. So I'm reading his letter and it's like, oh, like you've been selected to do day release now for West Ham. And he's like, oh well, if you ain't got a letter.
Can you confirm what day release is?
Okay, so day release obviously when you miss a day of school to go and train. So obviously, the more you train, the better you're gonna become, do you know what I mean? So me and a few others didn't get a letter, and I remember just thinking and sitting there thinking, well, that's not fair. Like, I remember I was actually distraught, bro. Like, I held it in and didn't say anything, but when I got in the car, I remember just breaking down to my mum and saying, well, like, how's that fair? They get a chance to miss school and go to training. I'm the same age as them, and I've got to go to school, and I'm not good enough to miss a day of school to go to training. Basically is what they're saying. They don't want to push me, is what they're basically saying. I remember just thinking, they don't even believe me. What's the point? What's the point? I remember just breaking down to my mum. My mum said, son, like this is life. This is what happens sometimes. Just prove to them. So I was like, all right, cool. My mum just keep going. One time, I remember I played a game and then the manager's gone like, yeah, Ty, like, right back. But obviously I've only played centre mid. So when he's gone right back, I'm like, what? So I've ended up playing there. I don't know right there, it was a right, but I wanted to join. I don't want to play right back, do you know what I mean? I'm 11, 12 years old. I didn't grow up wanting to be a right back. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to be a right back. He's like, no, trust me, just keep playing right back, But I've realised that you're just putting me right back to give the other players who learn my position more minutes, do you know what I mean? So I've gone home, I've ended up, so now I'm actually moaning, I'm being vocal now to my family, like, I don't want to go. Like, I do not want to go to West Ham. I don't want to play right back. I don't want to do this at all. My dad, but true enough to my dad, as soon as he heard that, he was like to me, do you know what, son? Cool. I'll come with you now. We'll go to the academy manager and we'll say I'll take you out of the thing, basically. But he was like, just wait till the end of the season and see how you feel. And then I asked my dad later at the time and I said, Dad, why did you tell me to wait till the end of the season? Because you knew how I felt. And he was like, to be honest with you, son, I thought we was gonna wait till the end of the season. I thought you was gonna get released. But end of the season came and they ended up retaining me to play right back because I was actually doing well there and they wanted me to turn me into like a full right back and then full right back. So then obviously I got a letter. And back in the day when you play for academy, they send you like a letter in a post saying you've been released or retained. So it just says you have been released, retained with the club badge, so it's West Ham. And every year I kept them all. I still got them at home. It said retain. So then I got a retained letter and I'm like to my dad, well, I still want to leave. Like, do you know what I mean? I still want to leave. And he's like, oh yeah, cool, fair enough.
How old are you now?
I'm 12 now, so I'm like, yeah, 8 times. I'm like, I still want to leave. He's like, all right, cool. He's gone to this academy manager. He ended up telling my academy manager that I want to take Ty out of the academy. Tony Cards ended up saying to him, no, like, please, like, stay, like, trust me. He's got ability. If he, like, we want to make him to right back, he will be a very good right back. He's got all the things ready to tell. My dad said he's not happy. Like, I'm not gonna push him to do something he don't want to do. He's just not happy. I'm taking him out. Tony Cards said, you know what, fair enough. Anyway, it ended up. So then my dad's come home, told me, yeah, like, I told him that he's agreed to let you go, and like, that's fine. You're out of the academy now. And I was just remember feeling mad relief, bro. Like, it's a weight off my shoulders. Like, it was pretty sad to be fair. I just remember thinking, yes, like, now I'm free. I'll take you to Dagenham and Redbridge. And I'm like, I remember just thinking, what's that? Like, what's Dagenham and Redbridge? Like, I didn't really 100% back myself. Stop caring what people think, man. I just wish he wasn't my dad as a coach.
Slate 3, take 2. Yeah.
When I remember, I just took a complete whole year of football. Like, I didn't play school football. I told my school football manager, I'm not playing football. I don't want to play football anymore. I took a whole year of football. And I literally just remember just not doing anything. And then, you know, when you start thinking, and that's the first time for myself I start thinking, bro, like, I actually do love football. It was just that place that I didn't love, do you know what I mean? So then I started really like missing it. And I remember telling my dad, oh, like, I miss football, you know, a little bit. Like, I miss it. And he's like, well, okay, cool. Let's try it. My dad's ended up knowing someone at Tottenham. He knew someone at Tottenham that worked at Tottenham. He's like, look, listen, but obviously they know who I am because we used to play Tottenham for so many years. And it's like, listen, he's not at West Ham anymore. Can you bring him in for a trial and whatnot? And I remember going to Tottenham. I think I was there for about 2 weeks and I dropped 2 absolute stinkers. Like bad stinkers. Like, I think I've got the ball on a half turn and I've tried to pass it back and then someone's gone in on goal and I was miles off it and I've said, oh my God, like, maybe, that's the first time in my life ever where I've said, maybe I'm not good enough to play football. That's the first time I really said, but I didn't say it out loud, but I thought to myself, maybe I'm not really good enough for this, or to be a pro footballer, like, to be pro academy, be a pro footballer, do you know what I mean? I thought, and obviously my dad said to me, like, listen, you're miles off it, basically. My dad's always honest with me. He's like, listen, you're miles off it. You're not good enough to go there. Just come out of there, do you know what I mean, before you end up doing more damage and start hating the game again, because you get what I'm saying, you're not ready. My dad's got a call from Warren Hackett, who was the academy manager at Dagenham and Redbridge at the time. And he's like, listen, we're starting up this academy. I think Dagenham just got into League 2. or something like that. And they're like, listen, we're starting up the academy and we're looking for players, and under 14s we're kind of like low, and we're trying to get players to be scholars and stuff like that. You know, we're trying to build like an academy. Well, what's Ty saying? Obviously he knows I've used to play. What's Ty saying? Is he completely done, or what's he saying? My dad was like, oh, well, I'll have a chat with him. And my dad said to me, look, listen, but at least I'm itching. I'm like to my dad, I miss football, do you know what I mean? And he's like, all right, cool, let's go I'll take you to Dagenham Redbridge. And I'm like, I remember just thinking, what's that? Like, what's Dagenham Redbridge? Like, I thought it was like a Sunday league team, but he's like, no, like, it's an academy. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll go there. I remember just turning up, mad flash, had like 2 slits in each eyebrow, had my West Ham training kit from when I was the year before when I was at West Ham. I remember just turning up, and then the facilities were mad. Like, it was nothing I was never used to. Like, it was like literally like 2G sand pitch, like triangle goals in like a school. Like, it was mad. There wasn't nothing to what I was used to. Do you know what I mean? It was like a real like raw, like really dropped down a level. You know what I mean? Like, and then I remember I got there under 14s, ended up doing really well. But I started enjoying it because I felt like I felt like I was better than everyone there, if you know what I mean. So I felt like, ah, cool, I can be the man here. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to be appreciated. So I thought, yeah, the coaches will love me. I get the love. And they started treating me with the love that I saw other people getting at West Ham. Do you know what I mean? So I thought, oh, this is nice, man. They can really flourish under this. I started playing more. Ended up getting like a 2-year contract. So I got to under 16. But then when I was in the under 14s at Dagenham, my dad always used to come and watch me on a Sunday. He used to come watch me. And then one time, he must have been chilling on the side, and our game must have got like paused or something for some reason. But the under 18s were playing on the pitch next to us, and he must have just turned around and just looked at the under 18s, and they was really struggling at the time. Like, the scholars at Dagenham at the time, obviously it's a new academy, they're playing against Southend, MK Dons, Luton, same category 3. So then, I remember they're really struggling. Rowan Hackett's basically called my dad and gone, look, we're getting rid of the youth team. We need a new youth team manager. Would you like to take the job? And I remember my dad telling me, like, so how would you feel if I took this under 18 job? But bear in mind, I'm gonna be under 15 next year, and I feel like I'm the man here. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is me. I remember he's gone to me like, how would you feel if I take the job at Dagenham, under 18s? I don't know if it was under 18s or under 16s, I don't know, it was one of them. How would you feel if I took the job at Dagenham, basically? And I've gone, no, not really, Dad. Like, I don't really like the sound of that. Do you know, I don't really like the sound of you being a coach at the club I play for. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, would you like your dad being a teacher at your school? Like, not really. Do you know what I mean? It was like that sort of vibe. But I remember he was like, all right, cool, I won't take it then. But he was just like, generally like, all right, cool, I won't take it then. I remember just thinking to myself, oh, that's just mad selfish of me, man. Because I know he's trying to do the coaching thing. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, nah, Dad, you know what? Like, I'm sorry. Done, like, cool, do your thing, man. Like, let's shine together, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was the mindset I was in. And then he was like, cool, thank you, whatever. I ended up taking a job. So now I'm at Dagenham now, playing. I'm still doing my thing, playing well. But obviously my dad's now the coach of like the under 18s. So the players in my team are kind of thinking like, okay. So now the people that I used to think used to get favoritism in West Ham, now they're the players I'm with now are looking at me like I'm them. So it's like a whole flip, do you know what I mean? Where it's like, I wasn't getting no favoritism or anything like that. My dad didn't even coach us. But because my dad's in the academy, you're automatically thinking, oh, well, he's gonna get special treatment, or the parents are putting things in their head, do you know what I mean? And they're coming in like, oh, you're only here because you're dad and stuff like that. But I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Like, I'm literally better than you, bro. And I was here before my dad, do you know what I mean? But obviously when you're young and that, people don't care when you're young, you're just competing against each other. I remember I felt like people in the team were kind of, my teammates at the time were kind of turning against me, do you know what I mean? And I remember that's the first time in my life, in football sense, where I thought, do you know what? Like, I'm just gonna just show them. Like, that's the first time I really, something switched my mind. I was like, do you know what? Now I'm gonna prove. Like, before that's when I really got the fire in my belly, really, from that young age. And I was like, cool, I'm just gonna prove to everyone that I'm the coldest. Like, I'm just gonna be the best, like, be the absolute best I can, and no one can say nothing to me, do you know what I mean? But obviously it was hard, you know, when you're young, you're inconsistent, so I'll have a bad game, then I'll start doubting myself and thinking, so maybe I'm here because of my dad, do you know what I mean? Then the next game I'll be sick. So then, like, do you know one thing about me, I'll be honest, from young in football, I'm a very confident person in life. So like, when it comes to girls, or just being the guy, or anything like that, or banter, or anything like that, I always like believed in myself and like always backed myself. But in football, I was always talented at football, but I never really fully believed in myself, which is quite sad. And when I really think about it now, that is probably one of the reasons why I didn't really make pro for too long, or be a pro, or be what I wanted to be, because I didn't really 100% back myself. At the time, I used to say I did back then, but I didn't when I look in the mirror at myself now. Because the way I used to back myself in other things, or the way I back myself now in other things, I know I didn't really back myself in football from a young age. Really, I wasn't really that confident. I never once compared myself to my dad. You know, ever, not once. And he never really did it either. Like my dad's a person who never talks about his career. I have to drag the information out of him. Like if I go for him for advice and stuff like that, obviously he'll give it to me, but he'll never talk about the players he played with. And he's had a good career. Do you know what I mean? Like career some people would dream of, sort of. I dream of his career. Do you know what I mean? So like, not really.
Why do you think you didn't believe in yourself then?
I don't know. That's something I'm still figuring out now. I don't really think I was that confident that I could do it. That I could. Because I don't think because I started falling out of love with it at a young age. I started in the back of my mind. I think I always thought maybe what if I fall out in love with it again? Like, I don't really love this. Open that door. Do you know what I mean? Of doubt. So then once you start opening one like element of doubt, and then you start creeping in. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was that sort of thing. Anyway, yeah, back to Dagenham. I ended up doing well, whatever. I got to like under 16s. My dad's the youth team manager now. They come to scholarship times. So this is obviously the most important, at this point in time, scholarship is the most important thing in a young boy's career, do you know what I mean, when you've been going through the academy system. And he's the youth team manager, so he and the academy manager at the time are deciding who gives the scholarships out to the under 16s. Bearing in mind, I'm an under 16. And you can imagine how much pressure there is for everyone around and your teammates and that, because we're literally playing for a scholar. So that's when the thing was really started, where I started thinking, bro, people are really hating on my team here, because like, I'm gonna get a scholar because of my ability. But now people are gonna say I'm gonna get a scholar because my dad's the youth team manager, which really winded me up. Do you know what I mean? Like because I know there's some people out there that get stuff because of their dad or the people they know, but I wasn't that case. Do you know what I mean? I knew I wasn't that case, but to me, it didn't care what I knew. It cared for what people thought, and that's another thing about me. I always cared too much about what people thought about me in football, which is maybe in life, in fact. Which really, as I've grown up and got matured, that's started to go away, and I've seen my life flourish because of it, really. So yeah, one piece of advice from anyone is stop caring what people think, man. Like, it's your life, just live it, bro. End of the day, we're all the same. No one pays you. If someone thinks one thing of you, that's fine. You just gotta be confident in yourself, really. So yeah, that's one piece of advice I'd give anyone, especially in football, if you're trying to be a footballer. Just forget anyone else, man. Just be tunnel vision sort of thing. So yeah, I ended up getting a scholar, as you did anyway, so cool. Playing. And I remember my first year scholarship now, we're not really doing too well. As like a youth team. My dad's obviously my manager. So this was the first time in my life my dad's actually been my actual manager. And I'm 16, 17, so I'm growing into a man. Now I'm 16, 17, I'm growing into a man, so I'm learning how to drive. I'm seeing my dad at home, and then I'm going to work, basically my work, and I'm seeing him at work. So it was kind of like a weird dynamic, do you know what I mean? But one thing about my dad is that he always used to push me so hard, push. Like my dad, by the way, is the best coach I've ever had. And I'm not just saying that because he's my dad on a bias team. You can ask anyone that he's coached. He is an unbelievable coach. And the saddest thing is, I just wish he wasn't my dad as a coach. If you know what I mean? Like, if he wasn't my dad and he was just a coach, I would have loved him. Do you know what I mean? Because where he was my dad, it was like a weird complex, man. Like something that I can't really describe, and something that, yeah, people always ask me about it, but it's a weird one, because like, imagine, I can't even describe it. Like, your dad's your coach, basically. You're trying to be a pro, your dad's your coach, and he's in your way, and then you're going home, you're having a disagreement on the train. We used to have little disagreements. So for example, he'll be like, "You're not training hard enough." I'm like, "What do you mean?" Yeah, I am. But no, you're not. Then I'll go home and he'll smile at me at dinner. And I'm thinking, but you shouted at me earlier. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird. Like, there was no shut off for me. So it's like work. It was just work. It was bringing home to home life. Home life was bringing it to work. So it was just like a mad little combustion. And then I remember one time I must have missed my college deadline for the work, and a few of us did. Do you know what I mean? And then I remember one time my dad literally just benched me for like 4 weeks on a spin. And I was just like, "Well, what are you doing, Dad?" Sort of thing. And he's like, "Well, you're missing your college work. Education's important. Education's the most important. You're not taking it seriously." And I'm like, but I'm not really a snitch. So I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm not that to him. No, this one didn't do that. So I'm not really that. That's not my nature." So I'm like, why are you doing that to me then, sort of thing? And he's like, "'Cause you're my son." And I was just like, "Oh." So instead of getting the favoritism, it was starting to go the other way, where I'm like, "Oh my God, this ain't really fair." And I remember one time, the first team manager must have needed a it was only the first year's training this day, and he must have needed a player to fill in with the first team because they were doing shape work for the game or something like that. I remember he's come over, the first team coach, and he's gone, oh, like, I need a player sort of thing. And I remember my dad just looking me in my eyes. He looked at me in my eyes, he looked at everyone, he looked in my eyes again, and I said, yeah, take this one. Even though I knew I deserved, I was playing the best at that moment in time, even though I knew I deserved to go train with the first team, he said to me, nah, take this one instead. And then at the time, I remember just being fuming, like, Dad, you just stopped me from being in the first team. He was like, trust me, just trust me. He just kept, all he used to say, he never used to argue back with me. He used to just say, just trust me, sort of thing. So I was like, okay, cool. So then later, now I asked him, so why did you do that at that time, Dad? What do you mean? He's like, because you wasn't ready. You're the best player, but you wasn't ready for how good you could be. Like, you're good around this bunch, but you wasn't ready to be good around that bunch, sort of thing. So once you're good enough to be around that bunch here, I'll put you over there and you'll be unstoppable, sort of thing. And I was like, when I look at it like that, I was like, fair enough. Do you know what I mean? But at the time, I'm not looking at it like that. I'm just thinking, come on, Dad, what are you doing? And he was under 18s manager. And the under 18s was going for a really bad spell, kept losing games. I think their discipline was off. They weren't doing their first team jobs properly and stuff like that, do you know what I mean? So I remember he brought up a load of under 16s, so he brought up me and like 3 others to go play for the 18s against Luton away, I remember. And I remember coming in, we were travelling to Luton on a minibus. My dad's not said, but I was bearing in mind, I'm living with my dad at the time. He hasn't said anything, he just said to me, look, he sent a message, he sent a text. My dad wouldn't even come to my room and say, he'd just text all of us in a group chat and be like, listen, Ty, XYZ, playing with the 18s tomorrow. Be here, we're getting picked up, go to Luton. I remember being and getting changed for Luton, I thought I'd just be on the bench. It's my first time, like, it's not my first time, like my second, third time with the 18s, being involved around the squad. And I remember thought I'd just be on the bench or I'll get a couple minutes and stuff like that. And I remember getting into the change room and he's like, he's told the name of the starting lineup and I'm starting. So I'm like, oh, this is a big deal, this is my first start for the under 18s. And I remember he's like, yeah, Ty's captain. I remember just thinking, what? What do you mean? I remember all the boys just looking at me thinking, and he was like, anyone's got a problem, come see me Monday. Ty's captain. I remember, anyway, I was captain of the under 18s that game. I scored 2 goals. I think we lost 3-2, but I scored 2 that day, do you know what I mean? Which is, and after we got home, he laughed away. I was like, oh, thank God, because I would have had some explaining to do, do you know, thank God you scored 2. And I was like, no, and then I think those are people were fuming. So that was one thing that my dad that's one thing that really showed, like, he didn't really care about showing favouritism. If I deserved it, he'd do it. So when I said he benched me for 4 weeks, I deserved it because I didn't do my schoolwork. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was important to him. So it was up and down, really. And he was only really my manager for 1 year anyway, because after my first year scholar, I ended up getting a pro contract at Dagenham. So like, I really done my thing in the first year. Started getting involved in the first team in pre-season. Like, started scoring a couple goals and that. And then John Still at the time, he was the manager then, and he gave me my first pro contract. So I was a pro now. So I moved up to the first team dressing room now. Obviously, back in Dagenham as well, the youth team had the red kit, and then the first team got the blue kit. So I remember going to get my blue kit, got my squad number and stuff like that. So now I'm feeling like cold around, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling cold around the training ground and that. I remember making my pro debut in the FA Cup against Wildstone at the time, at home. But it was only for like 3 minutes or something like that. But I just remember thinking, yeah, like, I've done it. Like, I've got pro, I've made a debut. Like, I remember just thinking, yes, man, like, let's go from here. Like, I remember I was just mad hungry from there. So I've done that, and then John Still's given me a start at home in the league. It was a national league at the time. So it was a pro contract, but it wasn't like, it was professional, but it was conference prem. So we played Solihull Moors at home. I remember he made me the starting lineup the night before. And I remember just being mad nervous the night before in my bed, like, yeah, like, this is, wow, what if I do this, what if I do that? Like, just overthinking it. And my dad's someone who don't really make a big deal of things, you know what I mean? So I've told him I'm starting, he was like, cool, you know what to do, sort of thing. So then I remember I've told all my boys, yo, you don't need to come down to the Dagger Stadium tomorrow. Told all my mum, told all my family they'll come. I remember we drew 4-4 and I ended up scoring on my first start. So like, and it was a decent goal, little tidy little finish. And I remember thinking, yeah, I'm going clear. Like, got home, my name's on the Sky Sports and that for the first time, Tyrique Hyde goal and that. My boys are all gassing people on the Snapchat and all that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think, yeah, like, it's time to go clear, it's time to go clear, it's time to go clear. After that, I just remember just being hungry and training all the time. And then John still never used me again. Like, I used to travel everywhere, bro. Like, York, this place, that place, travel. Like, I'll be the 18th man, so I'll be in the stands or I'll be on the bench and I know he's never gonna bring me on. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was just always traveling, but I used to go see him and say, I'm hungry, like, what's going on? He'll be like, listen, done your thing. Clubs are sniffing around you. Like, a couple of championship clubs sniffing around you, whatever. You get me? We're gonna keep bringing you around, and put your price up, sort of thing. I'm not really thinking about my price, and I don't even care about going anywhere. I just want to play football. Like, now I'm a first team, I just want to keep playing. I like it here. Do you know what I'm saying? not playing. That is the worst thing. The worst thing in football is when you're in a first team and all you do is train and you don't play no matches, bro. If any player out there is, if you're not playing, go out on loan. It don't matter to what league, as long as it's first team football, go get your games in. Because if you can't do nothing in training, you can't prove yourself in training, you're not gaining no experience, you're literally just sharpening your tools. Once you go out on loan, that's when you start getting better, when you get to put yourself in match situations. And I should have went on loan earlier, if I'm being honest, but I just kept staying. Hurt my ankle, bro, dislocated it, smashed my ankle to pieces, gone to Cancun, battered my liver to pieces. Bro, it was the worst thing ever, bro. I was crying. And that's when I just started getting mad depressed, bro. Like, a lot of people were complaining, saying they wasn't getting no games. So we used to make these like friendlies on the weekdays, like at like Barnet or whatever. And then I remember one morning, I woke up, we got Barnet in like a friendly, like so it's a reserves game. I'm playing for the reserves, Dagenham Resi's versus Barnet Resi's, whatever. And I remember waking up in the morning, I remember just waking up and just throwing up everywhere because I was just sick. Like I don't know, I just remember throwing up, and I've gone to my mum, come in my room, and she's like, "Oh, like you're in a bad way. Like don't go to football today, Ty. Like don't do it. Trust me." She was just like, I remember looking at my eyes saying, "Trust me, don't go to football today." And I've gone, "What do you mean, mum? I need to get back in the team. Like I need to go football. I'm really in a bad way, whatever." First 2 minutes of that game, that ball's come back to me. I took a touch, and then one of the Barnet players had just come straight over me. I heard my ankle just, bro, dislocated it. I looked down, it was like facing me. Bro, it was the worst thing ever, bro. I was crying. I remember just crawling off the pitch. I had to get stretchered into the changing room, and then I got stretchered into the changing room. The physio had to go back out, so he's like, "I need to go back out here, just like wait here." I remember thinking, "No, fuck this, I'm gonna try a shower." I'll try a shower. I remember, bro, just laying in a shower until the game finished, just crying my eyes out, bro, of pain, of just, oh, my career's done. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, I remember just sitting there with the water running. That's what I remember, just sitting there, laying there with the water running, thinking, fuck this. So I couldn't drive my car home, so I've had to call my boys, Toby, that was on Love Island and that. He's come from Essex all the way to Barnet. So two of them have come, and then Toby jumped out and drove my car back home. I remember just sitting with him saying, "Bro, I'm done. Like, my ankle's broke. I ain't played that many games as it is. I'm only 17, like, it's literally done before I even started," sort of thing. He's like, "No, bro, trust, like, this happens in football, you're fine, I remember just, anyway, ended up getting the scan. It's a madness, like, dislocation, break, every single thing that can happen to your ankle, I did to my ankle, basically, and with that challenge. I remember just thinking to myself, why didn't I just listen to my mum and just not go to football that day? And then I remember just being bedbound, bro, like, couldn't walk. I had to be bedbound for like 6 weeks. And that's when I just started getting mad depressed, bro. Like, this is just dark. Like, it's just mad. I remember just thinking, this is just mad dark. Like, my boys used to come see me, and they'd be like, "Bro, what's wrong? Like, you're just a shadow of yourself, bro." I just wasn't happy at all. Like, my belly was getting big. Obviously, couldn't play football, couldn't do no exercise. Playing Call of Duty, FIFA, all so stupid o'clock. It's just unhealthy, really. Just living unhealthy, do you know what I mean? I remember, how am I gonna get out of this? Like, this is a mad thing, sort of thing. And I remember, my boys was like, "All right, cool. You know what? We ain't been on holiday together in ages. Let's go Cancun." And I was like, "Yeah, cool, whatever." Obviously, I'm getting paid. I'm not really spending anything because I can't leave the house. I'm like, "Yeah, I got a couple of peas. I'm not getting paid a lot of money when I was at Dagenham, but I had peas and I wasn't spending nothing." So I was like, "Cool, let's go Cancun." So I'm like 18 now. We've all gone to Cancun. And then we've gone to Cancun, but like, I'm limping around Cancun, basically, bro. Like, just dragging my leg around Cancun, sort of thing. And I remember being in Cancun and get a phone call from like a random number. And it's Peter Taylor. And he's like, "Oh, is this Tyrique?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Who's this?" And he's like, "Oh, it's Peter Taylor, the new manager of Dagenham Redbridge." I'm like, "What? John still got sacked?" I'm like, "What?" I didn't even know John still got sacked. Like, "Yeah, like, he got sacked yesterday. I'm the new manager and I'm calling all the players. So I've heard you're one of the most promising players at this club. Whatnot. We're going to get you back to where you belong." And and I'm thinking, yes, like, this is what I needed. I need someone to really, like, believe in me again, like, just push me again out of this. I remember we were meant to be in Cancun for 10 nights. I think I come back after like 8, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm done. I'm going back to football. I'm going to get my rehab. I'm going back. This manager seems to be having me," sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Remember pre-season games. So bearing in mind, I've done no rehab whatsoever. I've literally smashed my ankle to pieces, gone to Cancun, battered my liver to pieces, come home. First day of pre-season, I'm trying to get straight back on it because I've got a point to prove. I've got weight. And I was mad fat, bro. Like, I was big. I'm saying I'm trying to lose weight. Do you know what I mean? I remember, I'm just going hard. Like, after training, I'll train. After training, I'll go on the bike, hard, the rower. I'll do everything. Like, I lost the weight, to be fair. I don't know. The only reason I said extra because I was overweight. And really and truly, I should have been doing extras when I was fit to get that little bit ahead, but I didn't. I was lazy. I remember just playing through the most excruciating pain like I've ever had. Like after the game, I'd have to pop 6 painkillers, then I'll go sleep, wake up, pop ibuprofen, play. Like I remember thinking, I'm too young to be doing all this, man. Like I remember my dad used to pop pills at like 35, ibuprofen and stuff like that when he had to get through it. I'm 18, like this should be happening. Playing through it, and then I got to a point where I was like to the manager, Peter Taylor, look, it's pre-season. I was like, I can't play through this sort of thing. It's fucked. He's like, yeah, no problem. Whatever, no problem. Go rehab it. I remember spending ages with a physio, not rehabbing it properly. So now, I'm at Dagenham now. He's not really having me because he thinks I'm weak. I know he didn't really come out and say, I think you're weak, but I know he used to think I'm weak. Because we used to play pre-season, I used to have to say, yo, Gaffer, I can't carry on, or training, I used to drop out. And then once a manager starts thinking you're weak in football, bro, you're done. Once they question your heart, or your mindset, or your determination, you're done in football. Do you know what I mean? So I knew I was done with him, sort of thing. Like I know, to me, he was done. And then I started, to be fair, this is where I started being a little bit toxic and a little bit of a bad egg, as they say, where I shouldn't have been. I remember just thinking, I don't care about this club or the training session or anything. I'm just gonna do whatever I wanna do. So I remember like, I'll like not listen to instructions, or I'll take more touches than I'm supposed to do, or like I'll bobble it to my boy on purpose and laugh about it, like trying to be like silly, do you know what I mean? But really and truly, when I look back here, I'm just overcompensating because I wasn't fit enough and I wasn't really performing good enough. So I'm just trying to drag people down with me. So yeah, at the time, I know the manager's not really having me. Our team's young at the time and I'm getting on with everyone. Like I'm quite a big part of the squad sort of thing, personality-wise. And I'm just being silly, man. Like just not doing things properly, encouraging others not to do things properly sort of thing. And yeah, I was being a bad egg for the first time, really, that I can admit. And when I do something wrong, I always admit it. It's one thing about me. So yeah, weren't really doing the right things, whatever, whatnot. Then I remember just the manager at the time. I remember him coming to me on a Friday. I'll never forget it. I think obviously I used to travel with the squad, but I was never in the squad. Never used to play. I was just traveling. I remember he come to me on a Friday and was like, "Listen, Ty, I really don't like the way you've been acting and stuff like that. You've got until if basically, you know, when you're under a certain age." And you leave the club and then you go to another club, the other club's got to pay compensation for you. So he's like to me, listen, it's a Friday now, take the weekend off, come to me with the answer on Monday. If you leave this club right now, you can go anywhere, aside from another club for free, no compensation, anything like that. If you want to wait around and carry on being a bad egg like you're being, when it's time for you to leave at the end of the season, when we get rid of your contract was done anyway, up at the end of the season. When it's time for you to get rid of you at the end of the season, we're going to ask for a mad compensation. Because I've been through the academy, so they was entitled to ask for quite a fair bit, which not clubs were going to pay that for me. Do you know what I mean? I was injured. I ain't really done anything in the game. Do you know what I'm saying? He was like, listen, think about it. And that's when I remember driving home thinking, what do I do here? Like, do I stay and keep getting paid? Or do I just swallow the rest of the money and just go? Sort of thing. And I remember going home and chatting to my mum and dad. It's like, this is the situation. This is the offer. I was just to my dad, listen, this is the 2 options I've been given. What should I do? He was like, well, just get out of there, man. Like, just get out. You're not enjoying it. You're being stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, just get out. I was like, yeah, cool. I rang him straight away. After I said, listen, I thought about it. I'm gone. He's like, cool, come down. He's like, can you come down tomorrow? I said, no, I'll come down tonight. We didn't really like each other, really. So now, unemployed. Like clubless for the first time. 18. So this 18, now I'm clubless. So everything I've done, all the hard work, in my head I was like, so cool. I've gone through the academy, been a scholar, got pro, scored on my debut. Like everything I've done, I said I wanted to do, but now 1 year later, I'm clubless. Like it's just, in my head I was just thinking, that's just mad. Like how life can just flip like that, it's mad. But obviously, some of it was to blame to myself, not blaming anyone else really. Attitude weren't right enough. But obviously some people, obviously at the time, didn't really help. But no one's gonna help you, that's life, do you know what I mean? You gotta do stuff on your own. And that's one thing that my dad always used to tell me, and the penny dropped too early, yeah? My dad used to always tell me from early, like under 16 or 14 times, when I got like older enough where it was starting to get serious, like, you can only control the controllables. That's all he used to say to me. And I used to think, what does that even mean, bro? Like, you know, something like that, what does that even mean? But then when I got to like 21, 22, it started to drop, like, okay, like, I can't really control what the manager's gonna do. I don't really care what the manager's gonna do. All I control is about how hard I work, how good I play, how well I eat, how well I rest, you know what I'm saying? If you control what you could control to the best of your ability, you'll be blessed, sort of thing. Obviously, a little bit of luck helps along the way, but you make your own luck at the end of the day, so yeah. My dad always just said that. He still says that to me now, to this day, not even in football, just in life. And that's something I live by, really. So yeah, now I'm clubless. I'm just going home. Now I'm looking at my ceiling again. Just looking at it again thinking, what am I gonna do, bro? I didn't go to uni. I didn't go to sixth form, so I can't go to uni. I could get a job, but I don't really want to get a job. All I know is football. I love football. I want to play football. So I'm just sitting there thinking, well. And I remember literally, I'll never forget this day. I'm sitting next to my mum. I'm watching a Netflix documentary, Making a Murderer. I don't always remember what I was watching that. I was on my phone, and I was next to it on Indeed. Like, okay, so I'm gonna have to get a job. I'm looking at Asda, Sainsbury's. Like, I'm looking at jobs, like Amazon delivery driver. And she's like, yeah, like, why didn't you say much? You're gonna have to do this. Well, you ain't earning no money. Like, you're growing up now. You know what I'm saying? You can't just not earn money. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, cool. I remember just thinking, fuck this, bro. Like, I don't want to live like this, but I had to do that. So I was just applying for all these jobs. So I got a call from a random number. It's John D'Souza. He's called me and said, hello, is this Tyrique? I've said, yeah. Who's this? He's like, it's John D'Souza from Colchester United. We've seen you've left Dagenham on Twitter. We've got a game where we're really keen on you because we played them in the Youth Cup the year before and we beat them 4-2 and I played it really well. Do you know what I mean? He was like, we've been watching you and been keen on you and we've seen that you've left. Like, why did you leave? And I was like, just weren't getting on. Whatnot. He's like, listen, we've got under 23s game tomorrow at the Den, 3 p.m. kickoff. Do you want to play? Literally, I've just left Dagenham the day before, sort of thing. So I'm like, right, like, quick turnaround, sort of thing. And I'm like, but I remember saying to him, but John, like, I haven't played 90 minutes of football in like a year. Like, I cannot play football. Like, I'm fit. I'm saying to him, he's like, don't worry, just come and play. Just come and play. If you like it, you like it. If you're good enough, like, if you're good, you like it, whatever. So I just went from youth team football to non-league men's football. It was never like, I never saw the Den. I never played at the Den. So when I remember going to the Den, I was thinking, this is cold. Like, this is what under 23 players get. Like, this is cold. You know what I mean? Like, I'm used to going to flipping York City and sitting in the stand or going here and playing at Halifax Town. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's mad. I'm playing the Den. I remember turning up. Played really well. I think the 23s hadn't won a game for coaches that year, and we won 3-2, and I scored early doors as well. And from there, I just kicked on through the game. Ankle was feeling good. Adrenaline was getting through me. Everything was feeling good. I remember, yeah, like, I smashed that. I remember thinking to myself, 23s football is mad easy, bro. Like, because I never played 23s football. Like, you know what I'm saying? No one really pressures you. There's no men breathing down your neck or snapping you or anything like that. It's just passing it around. I was like, this is sick. Like, I could do this. And I remember just being gassed. I remember I got home, told my mum, like, yo, mum, like, I played for Colchester today. But I never told my mum and dad that I was going to play for Colchester the next day. I didn't want to tell them because I was scared of failing. Like, I didn't want to say, oh, I'm going to Colchester. And I just didn't want to say anything. I just went out and come out. I was like, yeah. They was like, where you been? I played for Colchester today. And I was like, what? I was like, yeah, I got a phone call last night. I played against Millwall, scored. I was like, oh, well done. Like, next day, I got a phone call saying, oh, can you come to the training ground? Like, can you come train? So I went to train on a Friday. I remember after training on that Friday, I think I played on a Wednesday, that Friday, John D'Souza had a contract ready for me. And I was like, oh, you lot serious? I really rate me. John D'Souza was like, yeah, like, I've got a lot of time for John D'Souza, man. He's such a sick guy. Like, he proper helped me, like, a lot, to be fair to him. He, like, believed in me, really backed me and thought I was a good player. Do you know what I mean? And he showed it. He backed his talk, really, which a lot of people don't. So he offered me a contract. I was like, listen, we're part of your 23 squad. We see you kicking on, whatnot. But bearing in mind, I still haven't rehabbed my ankle properly. So I've signed this deal. Like, we've done a medical and I've just about got through medical. Like, they're like, can you jump on the spot on one leg? So on my left foot where the ankle broke, like, it's really a struggle. Like, I've done it, but I'm in pain. And I'm not trying to show I'm in pain because I'm just trying to get a contract and the money. Do you know what I mean? I'm not really trying to say, oh, this was wrong with me. But I've made them aware that I've injured my ankle, but it's fine now, I've said. But in my head, I know it's not fine. Anyway, now, signed for the Colchester 23s. I'm playing, but my ankle's playing up, bro. Like, I'm playing bad. Like, the worst I've probably ever played at anywhere, and I'm just ashamed. Like I'm playing bad, bro. Like, I'm playing bad. And then I remember John D'Souza come to see me and saying, look, like, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong? I said, John, like, my ankle's in a bad way. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, just let me go, sort of thing. Like, I'm not really on it. Like, he said, no, I'm not letting you go anywhere, sort of thing. What we're gonna do is you're gonna completely come away from training with the 23s for 6 weeks straight. You are gonna have one-to-one with the physio. At the time, it was a guy called Alex Greek guy, sick physio. I was like, raw, like, I've got one-to-one physio now. Like, I can really rehab this properly. I remember thinking, cool, this is my chance to get this right and proper kick on. So I remember I've done that for 6 weeks. I didn't play no games, didn't train for nothing. Literally just on rehab, cardio. Got my ankle to feel good again. And I thought, bro, like, I started getting the movement back. Like, before I couldn't move my ankle, like, it was only like this much. Can't get my movement back in my ankle. I'm feeling good now. But this is towards that. So the season's basically done now. So I'm literally just coming to full fitness towards the end of the season. He was like to me, cool. He come to see me again. He said, "Uncle Fan." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Cool. Have a good break. Come back strong. And come back hungry. It's down to you what you want to do." All my boys was like, "Yeah, let's go Marbella, let's go Ibiza, let's go here for the holidays." All my teammates was going away. I said to everyone, "Bro, I'm not going to a single place but the gym, bro." I've stayed for this whole pre-season, but off season. I went gym like 3 times a day, was going hard. Like, I remember just thinking to myself, I must be so bad. I might just knock this on the head here. Just living like a mess, bro, just in a bad way. Like, didn't want to be there. I was mad that the fans were throwing beers at me and all sorts. You know, I normally go. Come back to pre-season at Colchester, smashed it. Smashed all the bleep tests and the 23s. Smashed like all the fitness tests. Was on fire, like feeling sharp. Back to how I was before at Dagenham, like feeling really good, you know what I'm saying? People started to notice, and they started putting me with the first team a couple of times. So I started going out with the first team now to train for the first time whilst I was at Colchester. I started going with them more often. And then, yeah, the first team players were having me, to be fair. So, yeah, like, he's a good player. Keep playing. But there was a lot of midfielders in the Colchester's first team, which was the problem. So I've gone to John D'Souza now. John D'Souza said, cool. So John D'Souza said, cool. You're 20 or 21, I can't remember. You're 20 or 21. Getting a bit too old for under 23s football now. And you're a bit too good for under 23s football. We're trying to get you into the first team, but there's not a pathway at the moment. But we want to keep you at this club. So we're going to send you on loan. I was like, all right, cool. He's like, cool. He said, come back next week. So we sent your name to go out on loan to all the Conference South teams. All of them said they won't touch you with a 10-foot pole. Injury prone, not good enough, whatnot. I said, really? All right, cool. He said, listen to me. Go to Morden and Tiptree. Morden and Tiptree is basically Colchester's sister club, which is like Ryman North though, so it's real low. At that time, I'm thinking, I haven't played Ryman North or I don't know what it is, sort of thing. I remember thinking, I'm just better than this. Ended up going to Morden and Tiptree. We had like a really good team, man. I remember that we went unbeaten. Like I was on fire, getting assists, scoring, just playing really good, like getting that love back. Do you know what I mean? Like really just enforcing myself, being dominant, consistently dominant, sort of thing, for the Morden and Tiptree. And I remember I used to go back. I used to train with Colchester in the day, and then go to Morden and Tiptree on the weekends and play, or train with Morden in the night sometimes. I remember going. So I used to train with the first team at Colchester and then play for Morden and Tiptree on the weekends. So I remember coming to training, and the manager was like to me, "I heard you done well." I've ended up going back to Colchester, and I'm like knocking on the door, sort of like. I'm still training first. I'm like, can I get a sniff or something? But I couldn't really get a sniff. A lot of players around me. Fair enough, that happens in football sometimes. People in my position, they're in the way, they're ahead. So all the teams in the Conference South now that said I weren't good enough, I've seen what I've been doing for Morden and in the FA Cup. And now they're knocking. So like I don't want to play for Morden anymore. So this is like January, I'm like, I don't want to play for Morden anymore. It's too low. I feel like I'm too good. And I'm not really getting enough. I feel like I've used it for what it was, sort of thing, which was unreal, to be fair. Players were sick, whatever, but got the love back. But now I need to kick on and play at a higher level, sort of thing. In the meantime, I was looking for another club. I've played QPR. I'm throwing in love. My dad works at QPR now, and he worked at QPR then. So he's the 18s manager at QPR now, my dad. And he was basically managing the 23s, and I was playing for Colchester 23s against them. I remember I played well, had a good game. And the Dartford manager was on the side. And he remember coming up to me after the game and saying, yeah, like, do you want to come? And I remember from the minute I went to Dartford, bro, I just took the form from Morden and just took it up a notch. Like, I was on flames. That first time when I went alone to Dartford, it was crazy. Like, went alone, we ended up winning like 17 on the spin, bro. Like it was madness. Like, turning over anyone we played. Like, going into games thinking we're the best. Like, it was mad mentality, sick group of players, man. Sick changing room. Steve King was the manager. We ended up getting to like playoffs now. Then this is where COVID come in. So we've got to the playoffs now at Dartford, and COVID's kicked in, so the season stopped. So we literally just made the playoffs before the season ended, but they're not playing the playoffs because COVID's done. I'm burning, bro, because it's like, playoffs. So the first time playing playoffs, whatever. I don't care what league it is. I've done my thing. Like, I've really had involvement in this team. Like, I'm invested in this team now. Like, I want to get this team up, sort of thing. And obviously, I'm still a Colchester United player, but I'm alone at Dartford. So during this whole time, we're on furlough now. And I'm having conversations with Colchester, whatnot. And never in a million years, yeah, did I think that they was going to let me go Colchester. Anyway, Tony Humes rang me at Colchester United and was like, look, John D'Souza and Tony Humes rang me and was like, look, we want to offer you a contract, but we've only got this much money. But it was literally peanuts what they was offering me, bro. Like, I'm a 21, 22-year-old kid, bro, trying to make a living. I can't even make a living off what they was offering me. Like, I would have earned way more money just literally doing anything else. So I was like, I can't accept that. Like, I thought they was taking a piss at me a little bit. Like, I think it's a bit disrespectful, innit? But they said that was what they had because of COVID. I was like, listen, take it or leave it. And I was like, well, I ain't gonna take it because I can't live off that. So I'm just gonna have to leave it. So now I'm clubless again. bearing in mind, still on loan at Dartford, but clubless. So wherever I've ended up, they've let me go. So then I was at home one day chilling. Steve King rang me and was like, look, he rang me and he's like, look, they're voting tonight whether to get these playoffs to get played behind closed doors or to completely get cancelled. He's like, I'll let you know what happens. Rang me next day. The playoffs are on. So bearing in mind, everyone's had a break for ages and playoffs are back on now. So we're just going back into playoff, straight knockout, picking it off, bro. It's mad, bro. Like, the COVID was mad for football. And then we've ended up playing. We beat Slough in the quarterfinal, 3-0, I think. But I was on the bench, yeah. I got dropped for the semi-final and I was fuming, like absolutely raging. I said, like, my dad was thinking, bro, I text my dad saying, I've been dropped. He said, no way, because my dad see what I've been doing at Dartford. I've been texting my way. I said, Dad, if he tells me to come on, I'm refusing to come on. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you always trying to sabotage yourself? Like, why you always got to have this chip on your shoulder sort of thing? Like, sort yourself out, just go on the pitch. I was like, cool, you know what, cool. I was more scared of if I refused, my dad will stick it on me when I get home sort of thing. So 1-0 down at half time, he's brought me and Luke Manadio once, one of my friends. We ended up changing the game, 1-2-1. Now we're in a playoff finals, buzzing. We've got to play one more game to get to the Conference Prem now. So we've got Weymouth away. But all this is behind closed doors, but there's no fans. Like, it's a mad experience. Like, literally, playing with no fans is crazy in football. Like, with literally no one's allowed. And then we've got Weymouth away in the playoff final now. And we're drawing 0-0 for the entire game. It's gone to penalties. Bro, we've lost on penalties to Weymouth. Bro, I remember just thinking, fuck. Like, bro, it was dark. That's the first time that's when I really suffered at my first, like loss. You know, you lose in football, you lose games, but that was like, this is personal. Like, yeah, I've lost. This is high stakes, and I've lost. Like, we've lost. I remember coming back all the way back home, whatever now. But because I've had such a good year at Dartford and I'm clubless, I'm thinking I shouldn't struggle to find another club. Maybe not a pro club, but I'll find like a National League or a National League South club, like a good one. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna pay me good though. So then we come off the bus after losing to Weymouth. Literally got back to Dartford, come off the bus, and Steve King's gone to me like, yeah, well, I'll call you next week to discuss signing again. So I feel like he must have thought like it was a done deal that I was going to sign. Really and truly, in hindsight, I should have just signed for Dartford again. I've just had such a good... The fans love me. Everyone loved me there. Such a good team. I should have just stayed at Dartford and kicked on for one more season. COVID happened. Everything was unsure. He offered me a deal. But I thought I was better than Conference South. Do you know what I mean? And I probably was better than Conference South, but I thought I could get something better. Being better and actually getting something better. It's two completely different things, which I realised in football as well. I've ended up kind of semi-ignoring Steve King. I was a little bit disrespectful when I look back at it, to be fair. You know what I mean? He gave me a lot of games for Dartford and he believed in me a lot and gave me a platform to really do well. And we done well. But then I was like, I want to go to Aldershot. So I had an agent at the time. Agents, crap, by the way. Agents are the worst thing ever. I had an agent at the time. And he's like, Aldershot sniffing, Aldershot interested. So, alright, cool. Gone down to Aldershot. Went on trial there for about 3 weeks, maybe. Played 3 games. I swear, to this day, I don't know how Aldershot didn't sign me, bro. I ripped up training. Played 3 matches. I think I scored 2, assisted 2 in the next game, scored another 2 in the next game. Like, I thought it was a sure thing. I swear down, I thought, Aldershot are going to sign me. There's no way they cannot sign me. He just turned around and said to me, yeah, like, don't think you're good enough. I remember just thinking, bro. That's when I first, like, that's one of the times where I realised, like, football is just mad. Obviously now, I have no club, so I've scrambled. I've had to circle back on Dartford. I'm going like, I think I made a mistake. Can I come back? And he's like, well, I've used up all my budget. I've signed people, whatnot. But I want to sign you, and I'll give you this much. I was like, I can't really play for that. It's part-time as well. I would have stayed full-time, that was the issue. And it was part-time. Dartford was part-time. I didn't really want to go to work yet. I thought, I could still keep going at this. Still keep giving it a crack. I'm young enough. Anyway, that didn't end up working out. So I ended up going to Dulwich Hamlet, who were full-time, which was a decent deal. Gone to Dulwich Hamlet. But that was the worst decision, man. That was a bad decision for me. That's one thing I regret going to Dulwich. Reasons why we had a bad team. The team weren't really good enough. We had a young team. That's the first club I was at where I was like, I'm signed as a semi-pro footballer. So I was like, well, this is what it's like, sort of thing. Even though I wasn't really used to, like, I wasn't no mad pro footballer, do you know what I mean? But it was like, I was a pro, so I was training every day, good facilities, like, you know, get lunch and you get dinner, you can take dinner from the cafe, you get breakfast, you know what I mean? Like, your pattern, your kit's there in the laundry and stuff like that. So when I got to Dulwich, it was like, raw. Like, this is some real trenches, do you know what I mean? And I wasn't really ready for it. Got to a point where I was out of the team for ages now at Dulwich. But imagine, I'm driving from Essex to Dulwich, South London, every single morning. Not playing for Dulwich Hamlet against flipping Chippenham and Hemel Hempstead. And I'm thinking, bro, I must be crap. Like, I remember just thinking to myself, I must be so bad. I might have to just knock this on the head, yeah? And I was like, that's the first time I thought about, yeah, I might have to just quit because what's the point, sort of thing. I remember just going home and I remember that's when I started just in my bed drinking. So after training, I'd just go home, drink, wake up. Sometimes not even wake up, sometimes not even sleep, go training, come home, drink, go training. Like, just living like a mess, bro, just in a bad way. Like, didn't want to be there, but I just didn't, just program, like, instead of making a change, just letting it go on for too long. That's one thing about me. If something, because obviously people go through bad spells, you know what I'm saying? You go through a bad time sometimes in life, but one thing about me is I'm learning now to stop it quicker. I just let it go on for too long, but I always change and I always fix it, but sometimes I let it go on for too long, do you know what I mean? So then I was at Dulwich. Thankfully, bro, this is a blessing. That season got cancelled again because of COVID. Like, there was no fans in the whole stadium the whole time, but I don't think no teams were earning no money in that league for the season to carry on, keep going, and keep playing players. So thankfully, a blessing. Instead of me coming home training, getting drunk, the season just got done. So now I literally had no income. They even stopped paying us. They didn't put us on furlough or nothing. They just literally stopped paying us. And I remember feeling so grateful for that I ain't got to go there anymore. And I've got to make a change. Do you know what I mean? Like, now it's not when's the change gonna happen. Now it's now. So I remember just being happy for that. And then this is where I just started going to work. So I've gone to work at a special needs school full time. And I remember just loving it, bro. Like, I remember just loving going to work and working with these kids and making a difference to them. And just like really, it was just like mad fulfilling, bro. Like, it was sick. Like, that was my first ever job other than playing football that I ever had. And I was at like 22. You know, there's no pressure to perform. And like, obviously, like I said, I was always confident in life. But in football, we weren't really that confident at. I learned a lot about myself at that job as well. Like, about patience, all sorts, man. I learned so much about myself. And then, so cool. That's when I started working. Left Dulwich, cut ties with Dulwich. They said they're going to get next season, what you saying? I said, no, I'm done with Dulwich, Hamlet, whatever. So then now, where I've been loving, I know I've been loving the work. And then that's when I knew, like, I could do this and play football on the side. But I could do hand in hand sort of thing. So now a Dartford, a part-time, would make sense. So I've rang Steve King and said, listen, I've got a job now. I'm enjoying it, keeps me fit and happy, but I want to carry on playing football and I want to play for Dartford. So I want to play for a decent level. So I'm playing Conference South football part-time and working. So for me, it's decent. And if I'd done them both, I was earning a decent wage, not too good, but I was earning a decent living, do you know what I mean? And I was enjoying what I was doing, so I was happy. Went back to Dartford now, but I feel like he held a little grudge from when I didn't sign for him in the first place. 7 weeks in, I've gone down. So now I finally knocked on his door. Why am I not playing? He said, you're fifth choice midfielder at Dartford Football Club. I've gone, what? He said, you're fifth choice. I said, there's no way. He said, well, I'm the manager and you're my fifth choice. So I've gone, all right, I need to go on loan. Hemel Hempstead ended up coming back, so I've gone on loan to Hemel Hempstead now, where they had like 1 point. I think I was bottom of the Conference South, whatever. I was there. Lovely group of lads as well, man. Like, I actually liked Hemel, was sick. Being on loan at Hemel, doing well at Dartford, getting sent back, getting recalled from Hemel to Dartford. First game for Dartford getting recalled was against Hemel. So, yeah, it was mad. It was against Hemel. Bag 2 against Hemel for Dartford. It was mad. The fans were throwing beers at me and all sorts. You know how non-league goes. It was all mad. I didn't even try to celebrate the first one, but then they threw beer at me, so I celebrated the second one. So then after that, I've really thought about quitting football, man. Like, I really said to myself, look, I've got to quit football, but I was scared to quit football because then I knew I didn't have anything. Like, I could have went to work. I'm smart, but I didn't have no qualifications. So what am I really gonna do? I'm just gonna quit football to do what? That's what I was just thinking. And I was always trying to find out what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? I always said to myself, if I find something, I'll quit football. If I can quit football, I will, sort of thing. And anyway, that's when I got a phone call from Tony Russell at Lewis, and he's like, listen, I know you've lost your way in football a bit. Come play for me. Trust me, just come for a week, play one game. If you don't like it, you can go, sort of thing. And I was like, oh, Tony, like, I've heard about you. Like, I've seen the way you play, I admire it. But you don't want me. You don't want me. I don't want to play. I'm not up to it. I'm not going to put myself on the line for you. You don't want me. Trust me, sort of thing. He's like, trust me. I'll get the best out of you. And to be fair, he's the best first team manager I've had, and it's sad because he's my last one. Really, my most recent manager, at 23, 24 years old, is my favourite and best manager I've had. If I had him earlier, this whole thing might be a different story. Do you know what I mean? Him and all the management staff at Lewis are so sick. It's such a sick club. Got a lot of time for it, man. And I remember I was playing well. Really starting to get the love back, like the love that I used to have, like the love sort of thing, playing good football, man. And that really, he saw the game the way I see the game. He's sick, like we still talk now, man. Like he's a sick guy, probably got a lot of time for him. The year before when I'm at Dartford, I'm getting messages on Instagram from ITV saying, come on Love Island. How would you feel about going on Love Island, whatnot. And then I'm like, I'm thinking about it in the back of my head, but I'm like, no, it's not a Love Island thing. I'm trying to be a footballer, do you know what I mean? I'm like, instead. And then another year's gone by, obviously, now I'm at Lewis playing football and I've got a phone call. I've got another message, again, saying, how do you feel about coming on Love Island? I'm like, do you know what? Why not? Let's just send her my number and let's see what she says. Send her my number, I've had a phone call and she's like, yeah, listen, I've been watching you. Basically, how would you feel about coming on Love Island? I've seen your Instagram. I think you've got what it takes, sort of thing. Basically, if you've got a bit about you, sort of thing, they put you in front of a camera like this and say, you've got a bit about you, we'll put you on the show, sort of thing. So I remember I was like, yeah, I'll back myself to have a bit about me. Because like I said, I'll back myself in life, 100%. It's not really football, so like chatting to girls on the island, easy, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do that. So then I got a phone call, but in the back of my head, I haven't told anyone. Like, I'm proper thinking about it. And then I've sat on it for a while. Then I've ended up telling my mum, like, Mum, how do you feel about on Love Island? And she's like, oh, you're gonna make my nerves bad. Like, I don't know if I can watch it and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? You might say the wrong thing. I'm like, I'm kind of thinking that myself anyway. But she's like, but it's a mad opportunity, son. Like, you're playing football now. She's like, look, you ain't gonna make it, bro. You're 23, 24. You're not gonna make it high, are you? Like, let's be real. I'm like, yeah. Let's be real. Like, my support system is so sick. Mum and dad, family, everyone are just so real, bro. Like, we're just all real with each other. Like, you're not gonna be a Premier League footballer. You're not. So, what can you do now? Like, what can you do to be successful, sort of thing? I'm like, but in my head, I'm already thinking this as well. So I'm like, oh, I'm so glad they agree with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm fully on it because now I've got my parents sort of blessing, green light. But I told my mum first. I was scared to tell my dad, so I didn't really tell my dad till later. Anyway. But I didn't say anything to her because I think it's not even set in stone yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, I haven't had that interview. So I've done the Zoom calls I've got through. So it's like elimination rounds, bro. So like, you do a Zoom call first, Love Island, then you keep going to the next round, they do another Zoom, then they text you saying, then they ring you saying, come in and see us. So then that's when it starts getting a bit serious. You come in and see them, and they like 3 of them, they're executive producers, and they just pick you, like, what do you like, what don't you want, how are you gonna be, how do you talk, and you literally just be yourself, bro. Just being myself, the whole thing. And then I started getting a feeling that then they sent me to do a medical, and I started getting a feeling, alright, cool, I might actually go on there, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's actually coming true. So I've told my dad, and I remember being so shocked, and he just didn't say anything for ages, and he's like, do you know what? Knock yourself out, bro. I was like, yeah, cool. That's all I needed to hear. That was that. So then I called Tony Russell and said, look, Tony, please don't tell anyone. Like, but I have to tell you because I know the season's coming to an end now, and I might not be here. I know you might offer me a contract for next season. You might not. I don't know, but you probably will. And I might not be here because I'm going on Love Island. And I remember he just started laughing down the phone, innit? And I was like, bro, I'm being serious. And he was like, I know you're being serious. He's like, well, why didn't you do it earlier? And I was like, oh, yeah, I probably should have. And then he was like, yeah, listen, ever want to come back to football, ever want to train, I'm here, sort of thing. Go and knock yourself out. This is the opportunity that I can't stop you from doing. And I was like, yeah, no one can stop me from really doing it, really. There was no reason for me to not go. I was like I said, I wasn't going to be a pro footballer. This is another opportunity for me to do something with my life, do you know what I'm saying? So then I just quickly, Love Island, boom, made the transition. Now I'm here, talking about it. I'm going to say it here for the first time. I am coming back to football. I don't know where yet, but I've missed it a lot, man. And I feel like it gave me, I don't really appreciate what it really gave me, you know, fitness, discipline, stuff like that. Teammates, changing room banter, all that sort of stuff. So I miss it. I will come back to football. I don't know at what level I'm 14 yet, but I won't do that. Plus, music. I'm going to be releasing music this year. Music's getting released this year. Something I also love. I'm going to do. And I'm in a stage in my life where if I feel like I want to do something and I love doing it, I'm just going to do it. Okay, to wrap this up, my question to the Rising Ballers audience is, would you put your son into a professional academy at a young age? Reason I asked that is because I've been through it, and I feel like if I had a son right now, I want to put him in an academy at a young age, but that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe under 14s, under 15s, when it starts getting serious, then yeah. But from below that, just let your son, let your daughter, whoever, enjoy the game, man. Play for freedom, play for fun.
Cool. Yeah. Happy?
Cheers, lads.